There they are. Hi, folks. Welcome. If you're here for our event with Leigh Cowart and Ashley Paige, you are in the right place. We're going to get started in just one moment. First, I'd like to say hello, welcome, my deepest appreciation to you for joining us. We're here this evening for our event with Leigh Cowart and Ashley Paige for Leigh's new book, Hurt So Good, The Science and Culture of Pain on Purpose. Oh my goodness, we have a lot to look forward to this evening. Without giving any spoilers, I'll just say to keep yourselves clenched or unclenched. I don't know which one will be better, but do pay attention. I'd like to say hello. I'm Car, the events coordinator for Green Apple Books here in San Francisco. And I wanted to give a special thank you and shout out to our co-sponsor, Kink.com, for this event. This is our second time working with Kink, and it's always a delight. We so appreciate their support. You can find their schedule of upcoming events, which are still currently online at workshops.kink.com. I'll drop that link in the chat so you can take a look at it. Thank you, Kink. My deepest appreciation to you. I wanted to tell you folks about an upcoming event that we have as well on Thursday, September 23rd. That's 3 days from now at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We have the absolute pleasure of hosting the Queen herself, Cassandra Peterson, otherwise known as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. She'll be in conversation with San Francisco's own drag grande dame, Peaches Christ. This is a ticketed event. Tickets come with a copy of the book, as well as a signed book plate and access to the virtual event. I'm very excited. I know this Wednesday is the fall equinox, but I don't think fall starts until Elvira's book launch. So do keep that in mind. We have a full calendar of our events on our website at greenapplebooks.com. Most of our events are free unless stated otherwise, like the aforementioned one. So that being said, please do buy books if you can. Please do buy books from us. Please do buy Leigh's book from us. If you've been here before, you've heard me say that buying books supports this bookstore. We're an independent bookstore in San Francisco in the year 2021. So your purchase of a book supports us and helps us put on events such as these. It supports the authors who put so much time and effort into making these books, and then you get to read that book. So no one loses. It's a win for everybody. If you can, please do buy books. I'll put the link to Leigh's book in the chat as well, of course. Please do keep in mind that we have a Q&A at the end of this hour. If you have a question at all, anytime, go ahead and enter them into the Q&A little interface here on the bottom of your screen, and we will get to them at the end of the hour, but do feel free to enter them at any time. We'll get to as many as we can. Without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce the folks that are joining us this evening. First, Ashley Paige, the purveyor of pleasure and perversion, is a New York City-based professional dominatrix, fetish content creator, and BDSM educator. You can check out her monthly podcast, Dom Nation, and you can look forward to 2022 when she'll be hosting or directing. What's your role in that, Ashley, the docuseries?
So I'll be co-directing a docuseries with Raquel Savage under Kink Media Group. It's called Discourse, and this season's topic is Black and Kinky. So we're going to be discussing people's Black and Brown folks' experience with their lives in the kink scene. So
Amazing.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Thank you. Discourse, please check it out. And you can find Ashley on Twitter at Ashley Paige NYC to keep up with all of the things she has going on. Please do welcome Ashley Paige.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you. The pleasure is all ours. And last but certainly not least, please do welcome Leigh Cowart, who's a researcher and journalist whose work has appeared in the Washington Post, New York Magazine, Hazlitt, Vice, and many other outlets. Before becoming a journalist, Cowart was immersed in academia, doing research on subjects like sexual dimorphism in leaf-nosed bats and resource allocation in flowers. They live in Asheville, North Carolina, where they're joining us now, and their book, Hurt So Good, is what brings us together today. So please welcome Leigh Cowart.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Thanks. I'll let you two take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Car. Leigh, It's so good to be here with you. How are you tonight?
I am excited and very nervous about what I'm going to put in my mouth later.
Oh, you and me both.
I'm like, oh, be cool, be cool. I don't feel
Right?
cool.
You got this. You got this. Like, we're here. We're going to suffer together. So it's all about teamwork.
It is. We got this.
Yeah. I feel bad for our butts later, but like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
All part of the journey.
Indeed. Indeed. So, let me tell you, I absolutely love your book. I love your book. It like, it makes my kinky little heart melt. You touched on so many things where I'm just like, yes, 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 all the torture, but also the ties that you've made to masochism. Like, you've talked to some of everyone from yourself, you're a ballet dancer, your friend who was a boxer, ultra marathoners, like those that are eating the hottest peppers and the wildest competitions and people that are splitting their tongues open. Like, the ties that you've made to masochism and the way in which we engage with pain all across the board in our daily lives is just, it's something that is very near and dear to my heart. So I love your book.
Thank you so much. It's obviously very near and dear to my heart too. I mean, masochism is really everywhere. Like, people kind of have this myopic view that ties it directly to sex only. And like, masochism in sex is great, but like, it is so much bigger than that. And our bodies like can do this playground thing where we can kind of hack into that and do this like really exciting yet ultimately safe but very difficult to endure thing, and then reap the biochemical rewards of it and also the psychological rewards, emotional rewards. It's such a big thing once you start looking at it.
Very true. I was actually, I was having a conversation with my submissive the other day, and he was an ultra marathoner back some time ago. And he kept focusing on the connection with masochism and sex. And I'm just like, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Like, that's great, but that's just an iota of what we're talking about. And I would really like to know, because you began your, well, I don't want to say you began your relationship with pain with ballet, but I mean, it started fairly early with you, your relationship with pain, and to see it evolve in such a way is really interesting to me. What led you here though?
That is kind of one of the questions that led to me writing this book, which was like, why am I like this? And how did I get here? And I don't think that there's one reason that brought me to this. I think that it is a very ornate tapestry of nature and nurture and experience and desire and play. And people ask me sometimes like, well, aren't there people who just like pain for the sake of pain? And I feel like that's a difficult question to answer, because it's like saying, do you like ice cream for the sake of the ice cream? But like, when you eat the ice cream, you have the taste, you have what your brain does, you have what your body does, you have the emotional context of the ice cream, the desire for it. So how could you say that it was really only the physical object of the ice cream, when really it's your body's reaction to it? So I have a hard time like delineating, but like just saying like, oh, it's these people like it just for the pain and these people like it for everything else. I think we're all in this bodily soup together, and it's fun.
It is fun. It is fun. And I love, like, it's so easy to try and reduce things down to like this simple equation, but like, we're complex humans. We have complex relationships with some of everything. And ice cream is great, but like, we have memories that we're tapping into whenever we take a scoop of our favorite ice cream. Whenever you take a spank on the butt, there's memories that you're tapping into. And it's like you have cells in your body that are literally reaching out and just hoping for this connection. So I love that you tied all of this together so perfectly with a very kinky little bow in your book.
Thank you. So that means so much to me coming from you. I am a longtime fan. So
oh, thank you.
This is kind of a dream come true. I'm not gonna lie.
That makes me so happy. I'm just like, as soon as they reached out, I'm just like, oh yes.
I was like, oh my God, Ashley Paige.
White forehead. I love. And like, okay, so you touched on several different things in the book, but can I ask, what was your favorite demographic to connect with and talk with about their relationship with pain?
That's a really good question. And you know, it's honestly been Kinksters, like people, and I think that's because there is kind of already this willingness to jump in with me. There's already this curiosity around pain. So, you know, talking to people who are have a vested interest in pain and pleasure together, they were so willing to like kind of get on this ride with me and see it with the peppers and see it with the ice and see it with the running and see it with the needles. And honestly, the way that people reacted to me telling them what I was working on, like it got me through the process. Like people were like, oh, that's so cool. I've always wanted to read a book like that. Right. And to see yourself to see someone be curious about your desires in a way that's not judgmental or looking for an easy answer, I think it's a gift I try to offer myself. And I'm also trying to offer it to this subject because there aren't easy answers here. This is a really complicated and messy thing. And that's why it's so fun.
Right. I mean, the messier, the better sometimes. And this is definitely a messy relationship that we have with pain. So good. It's so good. So I feel like I'm a little bit biased. Kinksters are like, you know, those are my people. So I feel like, yes, come on now. I mean, we're cut from the same cloth. But I feel like I understand like the willingness that people would have. Was there any like hesitation or resistance that you encountered with people that weren't necessarily Kinksters that you interviewed and their relationship and like talking about pain?
Yeah. So there is, you know, especially in American culture, there's a huge sexual taboo with masochism. And I think that's because it was named after like one dude's boner, right? It's Leopold Saxer-Masoch. It's named after him. He wrote Venus in Furs. And, you know, he was a man who had this like huge literary career that tanked when it came out that the submission he was writing about was something he was doing in his life. And when people found out it wasn't fiction, they like his life just fell apart, and that kind of has persisted. And there's this like kind of I think some people have this kind of need for distance from sexual masochism due to some stuff that they're working out in themselves, or a kind of brittle lack of curiosity around how things might be connected. So, you know, some people just said that like I was a bad person, that I was promoting abuse, that I was sick for thinking that people could engage with pain on purpose outside of sex or in sex, just like the concept of it was sick. And I disagree. It's everywhere. And I'm stubborn. So here we are.
I'm happy we're here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so interesting to me that, I mean, we know this, like we have judgment all around us. We're immersed in it. This is a society that we live in, right? So like judgment is everywhere, and everyone wants to distance themselves from the dirty, filthy things related to sex, or the misconceptions related to the dirty, filthy things related to sex, which are honestly, in my opinion, some of the best things. That's another conversation. But you have religion and self-flagellation and just like, you know, we are constantly taught to sacrifice ourselves.
Yeah.
Why not sacrifice comfort for a bit of pleasure?
Right. I mean, the way that pain brings you like unequivocally into the present moment, like very few things can do that, can really just bring you here to now, where it's just you and your body, and you're not doom scrolling. You're not thinking about what you need at the store. You are just in your body right there for that moment. And like, there's something sacred to that.
There is. I mean, even if like, just taking it down to like the simplest thing, you're running a mile a minute and you are let's say you're like me, a very type A person, and getting all the things done on your to-do list. And you can be so disconnected from the present moment. And then you stub your toe, you stub your pinky toe, the baby toe on the edge of a chair or whatever. And like nothing makes you want to curse more than that. And you can't distract from that moment, from that intensity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like, it's one of the most beautiful things. Like, we're human and we get to feel our humanity.
Yeah.
I think that's a blessing.
I think it is too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. You talked about first pain, second pain. You spoke with some doctors and some neurologists, neuroscientists. What was the biggest takeaway that you had?
About the physiology of pain in the body, or just about the
scientific connection with pain, because pain is very subjective, but also from your own experience, because you had a relationship with pain prior to all of this. What's the biggest takeaway you had after while you were in the process, after you finished the book? What did you learn? What changed your mind? What enhanced it?
Truly, understanding that every time you feel pain, your brain is creating that sensation for you fresh. It is 100% subjective. It always relies on where you are, what you are feeling, what you are expecting. Are you aroused? Do you want this? Are you in a hurry? Have you been here before? Like your brain is just taking in all of this information and then giving you the pain that it thinks it should in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And every moment is different. Every person is different. There's no test that a scientist could do currently that would definitively quantify the pain you experience. It is so personal and so intimate, and it's like hard to express if you're not in it. And so it's one of the reasons why sharing pain is so powerful, because you're speaking a language with someone that you might not have words for.
Amen. Yeah. As a very kinky and sick and twisted individual, I resonate with that so very much. It's a shared language and a bond. And like, I want to bond with people like that. I think we need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, behavioral synchrony alone, just the act of moving your body in sync with someone else, has been like studied and is shown to increase feelings of togetherness with that person, even if it's a stranger. And we know that pain creates meaning, that we assign meaning to things because they are painful, because we suffer. And if we suffer, we must be suffering for something. So shared pain taps into behavioral synchrony, and, to like the, it's amazing. I get flustered about it. Like the way that experiencing pain with someone else can make you feel closer to them is like wild to me. And knowing that there's actually science that backs that up, that backs up that lived experience of mine, that was so exciting to learn. That just blew my mind.
I get that. Can I ask, is that something that you felt when you were in ballet?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't
Is that what made you feel?
I mean, looking at the time, I don't think I had the language for it. And I think part of that was because I grew up in it. So I started dancing when I was 4. And so I always had access to this world of bodies and suffering and unity. And that's just how I grew up. And it was really unsettling when I left ballet in my 20s, because I had this framework of understanding the world and understanding myself and understanding my feelings and my body that I lost access to when I stopped dancing. And that led to some serious mental health issues and kind of collapse in my life until I rebuilt that relationship with myself and with other people, using my body in different ways, but using the lessons that I was indoctrinated into in ballet.
I love that. What was the catalyst for making that change?
For leaving dance.
not for leaving dance, but for reconnecting with your experience of pain and unity with others and connection in that way?
I needed it. I felt such an absence outside of ballet when I left it. And I also felt a lot of rage. Like, my experience in ballet was very abusive. And so when I left, I suddenly just was being eaten alive with all this rage that I didn't process when I was there. And I felt very alone. And it became a very singular, isolating experience. And so if I was to climb out of that particular well, I needed to find myself again.
Yeah.
So I did.
And here you are.
And here I
Bound
am.
and free. I love. Is there anything you would change or do differently? Knowing now what you know regarding your relationship with pain, with everything.
I don't know. I mean, obviously there's a part of me that would want to go back to, baby Leigh in their early 20s and be like, oh, baby, it doesn't have to be like this. But also, I don't know how I would have turned out otherwise. So, it's like the time machine question. Would I change what happened then, knowing that it might change what's happening now?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I don't think we need to know, actually.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. What I do know is that we're going to dive into some pain today. And I'm so nervous.
I'm so nervous too.
I'm so nervous.
I'll show the people at home what I'm gonna do. So there.
Yes. I love the branded hot sauce. This is so good.
I know, right? This is like a dream come true. So this is a bottle of Carolina Reaper hot sauce from Puckerbutt Farm, which is the home of the Carolina Reaper pepper, the hottest pepper in the world.
You mean these guys?
Oh, that one's really crenellated too.
Oh yeah, like they're kind of vicious. I have 3 of them. I'm eating 1. Oopsie.
Yes,
now we have 2.
I think one is great.
I'm not crazy, not completely anyway.
Let me read this label. Oh yes, the Reaper Squeezins. And I haven't tried it yet. So
gonna pop that cherry with me.
I am. I'm just gonna like swig it like a pirate and like swish it around my mouth. And I am gonna probably spit it out like I did the first pepper. Because I don't like the capsaicin cramps. But I have my buckets and for my fluids. And I was thinking I would do a reading, but I think we should just get into it. I mean,
how do you feel about upping the ante? We take a swig. Well, you take a swig, I take a bite, and then you start the reading.
Well, when you put it like that, how could anyone say no?
Can I ask you one more thing to up the ante?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about gargling that hot sauce before you spit it out? Just so you get it like nice and saturated on your tongue. I'm going to have a whole pepper, so, might as well, right?
I'd love to gargle it for you.
Yeah. Tell daddy what she wants to hear.
Anytime.
Okay, you have to do the countdown though, because okay, hold on. Before we even start, like I said, I had a little sliver. I haven't had a whole pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I know the cramps are going to be pretty severe, and I'm somewhat tempted to just swallow it because I'm going to be forcing all of the dirty boys to eat pepper soon. And I feel like I should have the experience.
Oh, I love that.
But what do you recommend, seeing as how you're the expert here?
The cap cramps, some people get them worse than others. For people who get them badly, it can feel like, as long as you're not allergic to capsaicin, you're fine. It's just transient pain. But it's like on the bed, writhing, labor cramps. And been in labor. I know that feeling. I like the flush in my face that makes me feel like my ears are gonna explode. And then I like a bow on that experience. I've had kind of, I think, what are probably lower grade cramps, and it's fine, but it's no like capsaicin in the mouth. So
Okay.
when I had my first one, I chewed it until it was like liquid, and it like bathed everywhere, and then I spit it out, and as we will hear about soon, filled me with such regret right away. It was amazing. Never in my life have I felt so clear and so quickly regret.
Yeah, remorse is very, very real.
Yes.
But I'm going to take your recommendation and not swallow. Seeing as how I have other things to do this evening.
Right. Depends on your
okay.
schedule, I guess, is the answer to that question.
Right. Writhing in pain and birthing one of the hottest peppers on earth is probably not on my to-do list. So
Right.
I'm gonna chew and spit.
You have the same temperature receptors in your mouth as you do in your anus for capsaicin. So if you do want the ring of fire, or the pucker butt, as the farm is named after, then by all means.
Seeing as how my butt has been clenched all day, we're not gonna make it go even further. So we're gonna pull back a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, let's do this thing.
It's my spitball.
This is mine.
Okay. Let's shake it up.
Juicy.
Oh my God. Oh, I can smell it already. Oh my God. Okay. Thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. All right. I'm gonna read now. There's my spitball. All right. Like a dog unsure whether they are really allowed the treat on offer, I open my mouth and bring the pepper to my teeth. Bulk, pull back, and then go for it. I bite almost the entirety of the pepper off and begin to chew, returning to nibble the rest of its red flesh. Do the breathing.
My tongue is just gonna drip the whole time.
I decided
Weirdly
that I'm gonna.
Enough, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like, I'm on fire, but like I can hold a conversation.
It's like there's almost like a kerosene smell that I get for these. All right. Hold on, I gotta breathe into it. Now we can read.
You got this. I have faith in you.
They taste good.
They do.
I chirp into my camera. Every ounce the brown-nosing teacher's pet I've always been. Red soup sloshing through my mouth like Dante's gazpacho. Oh, my nose is going.
I want it to be like waterworks.
I know, just let it come.
Yes.
The pepper tastes good for half a second, and then it does not taste good. At the beginning, it was sweet and sharp and almost delicate, but then it turned into something else entirely. And now I'm having very strong feelings about it. telling the camera that the pepper tastes good is mostly magical thinking. Something I've heard other pepperheads say, as if proving that their mastery over heat allowed them the godlike powers of appreciating the finer tasting notes of fucking lava.
Oh, yes.
I spit the pepper onto the ground and closed the car door with a dramatic exhale, and then burst out into riotous laughter, cackling in the face of my obvious mistake.
The more I spit, the hotter it gets.
It builds, honey, it builds.
Oh, yes, it does.
You start out, you're like, okay.
Like, I got this. I'm a G. Nothing.
You do got it, though. An ominous coughing fit erupts immediately. And my first thought is a very quiet, very stern, very unambiguous, oh, shit.
Oh, bring on the profanity.
Oh, yeah. There is a siren in my body and it's coming from my mouth. And I know I gotta take my hair down. I can't have it up for this.
Give it to me, Leigh.
Shake it out, baby. In my heart of hearts, because I did my research, because everything has told me this, because the sensation is already escalating fast, I know that the pain is only beginning. Laughter turns to ice cold concern and I get serious immediately. I lean out the side of my car and silently retch, spraying saliva onto the fist-sized blot of crushed pepper seeds and vermilion ooze. It sits atop the baked dust parking lot. I close the door and take my glasses off, which I should not have done, and wipe pepper spit from my face with my bare fingers,
oh God,
foreshadowing, and clamber again for the door handle. I lean urgently over the ground, abdominal muscles clenching in revolt as molten hot spit streams from under my tongue and behind my teeth as if a dam inside me has broken. I sit back in my car. It's getting too easy. I'm going back to hot sauce. You're on the, yeah.
I mean, if you're doing a second twig, I feel like I should do a second pepper. I'm that guy. But also, can we take a moment to pause? The language, the picture that you paint with the language you use is so beautiful. I'm just like, yes, yes to all of this. This is exactly what I feel. And here we go.
All right. That was questionable.
Oh.
I have never felt regret so clear, so unquestioned, or so sudden. The camera is still rolling and I try to remain calm, but I know that any pretense to decorum is over. Confident in the knowledge, oh no.
Don't touch your nose.
Air it out. Confident in the knowledge that the things that this pepper is about to do to me are unfathomable, because empirically they already are. And we're just getting started. I scramble for the cold water that I brought along. Fuck this ride. Fuck staying on this ride. Fuck this feeling in my mouth. I breathe into a dribble of wicked spit. I meant it about the spitball.
Oh God, it's so necessary. I'm about to fill up the second one.
It's hot though. That's the best part of this, to be honest.
I enjoy it way more than I should.
Hell yeah. Where am I? Okay. My lungs contract in a cough that feels like a threat and a wheeze and a desperate plea for none of this. Oh my God, none of this. Please, no, please, no. My intentions were to talk to the camera through this ride, but it's rapidly becoming patently clear that that's not fucking happening right now. I start to squat in my seat like some kind of gremlin, drawing my feet up under me in a desperate plea to what? To move away from my mouth? My mouth, which feels like it's actually literally full of coals? That is not an exaggeration. And yet, it's gonna get worse. I perch a crying gargoyle, snot everywhere. Water isn't helping. So I take a sip of hot, flat kombucha that has been baking in my car all day. It somehow makes the pain worse and full of needles. And I shake my head immediately as if I could dislodge the experience before it embeds as a memory. No, it turns out you truly can't. I try it.
This is happening.
Oh, it is. I spit all over my computer.
I don't even know how I made it into the bowl this whole time.
Okay. Despite having ardently sworn to avoid this very act, I take my fingers and I put them directly, fully, wholly into my eyes. I do not realize what I have done. It is true slapstick, an earnest portrayal of a performance, an earnest book. I can't even read. Look at my book.
I have nothing for you. I'm like panting and stuffing. Language makes no sense right now. English is out.
Okay. The heat in my mouth is climbing and everything in my face is screaming. Start doing Lamaze breathing. I'm coming unraveled. I take a sip of cold water, but it brings the horrible heat into my throat, but does nothing. Nothing. I take another sip. A different bad sensation is better than the same bad sensation. I would do anything to get away from the literal portal to hell in my mouth. Anything? Come here and punch me in the face. And when I wake up, this will be over.
There's nothing I can do.
How will I describe this? How will I describe this?
To a T.
Right. We're coming to the pep talk, Ashley. All right. I'm lost in this heat pouring through my mouth. I am losing to this. I'm losing myself here. I'm slipping. My hands are shaking. My eyes glaze into the distance. The sensation feels unsurvivable. I'm skipping parts. I just can't get through. I'm skipping the parts. I need to get to the pep talks. It's just.
I'm here with you.
Okay. It feels scary and dangerous and infinite. I know that this whole ordeal will be over in about 40 minutes. And I hold 40.
I did not read that disclaimer.
The endorphins kick in before the end of it. Like really kick in. This guy, I get there. The pain is getting bad and I lie down. I think about it and I think about myself. I think about this pain. I think about the fire and I think about my options. And so at some point, I decide that I'm going to do what I came here to do. You can see this moment in the video, this eerie transition. I cough and I settle. My mouth curls into a smile and I say out loud, all right. And it begins. It is my humble opinion that in a case like this, at some point, you just have to decide to really fucking take the ride. On the video, oh, I'm feeling it.
Yes.
I'm leaving for somewhere else, panting, eyes cloudy. I have all the equipment to get through this. I feel it in my bones. There is an interiority that comes during pain, a way to burrow into the body and the mind. Same thing. I breathe deep and hard into myself this moment, my lizard brain, my supportive body, my sturdy self. Ultra runner Courtney Tellwater has a phrase that describes the way she suffers during the hundreds of miles that she runs. She calls it the pain cave. And I like that. Pain creates walls, a container of sorts, sealing you off from the world. But there is an opening to that cave, a light in that fucking tunnel, and into this. It's coming. Moving my body feels good. The rocking motion. Oh, it's so stupid.
Oh God, you did 4? I feel like I have to play catch up. Wait, is it 40 minutes from each pepper? Because Jesus.
No. All right. I am here to ride this fucking idiot ride I got on and see it to the end. Bold choice, because it's not getting better yet. In fact, the pain has been getting steadily worse. But you know what? This is where I am. And I'm going to reckon with it. By the end of things, it will have taken me the time it was promised. I squat in the car again, rising into myself. Spit runs freely from my mouth onto the seats, and I'm crawling out of this pain cave by making myself a home within it like an uninvited guest. I breathe into the fire in my mouth, and I think about it. I focus on the pain. I focus on how it feels inside my chest. It's how it feels inside my pelvis. I think about my mouth, and I think about nothing, and I think about that guy who free climbed El Capitan without a rope, and how I get scared climbing the kids' wall at the climbing gym. I think about, I wish my partner was here. I think about the word no, but on fire, and I think about how the world is ending, and I have a fucking plastic bottle in my car, and then I feel a wave of spit crest over my mouth, and I notice my mouth, and I rush into it. I am dissolving into myself. This pepper, my face, I want out, and I want through. My eyes bright red and shrieking, and that's not even the worst thing that's happening in my body. I know this is fake. I know it. I know I'm not in danger. This pepper will cause me no harm. But none of this matters because I am at the mercy of the electric tofu between my ears. So with that, I surrender, and I am gone into the fire. I clench my fists, and I pant, and I snarl, and I root down into the screaming in my mouth. I bear down, and I take it, and I take it, and I like it. But I fucking smile like a psychopath because I know in the moment I'm gonna fucking ride this monster all the way to the end. This is my fucking monster, and this is my fucking party. And moments later, when it starts, as it is doing right now. It starts in the part of my stomach, the snot bubble, where butterflies are felt. That exact spot. Oh, it comes and it surges through my body too fast. It knocks me stupid and I scream and I crumple into my car seat, sliding back, clutching my chest. Feels like a hot bath and good drugs. The color pink, but also the color red. Like having a nosebleed directly onto a puppy coming to after fainting. And like a cattle prod, but in a good way. It feels like all of those things at the good time. At the same time, I rub my throat and I ready myself to accept the true gift of the Carolina Reaper pepper. My body's pain response floods my system and I am on fire and I am fucking incapacitated with joy. I laugh and I shriek and I shake my head back and forth hard enough to rattle my teeth. I writhe and I shiver and I thrash about. I soak this up like a sponge and I wring it into my mouth and I gargle it with relish. I am elated, victorious, lost miles from the cave, alone in the stratosphere. I feel like I'm rolling. I wiggle in my seat, unable to conceal my joy with stillness. It is rapturous. The pleasure comes in cresting waves, and I stand in the surf and I let them crash on to my triumphant body. My breathing slows. I wallow into myself, lingering in the animal recesses of my body, skin damp, hair matted, lips swollen. I rest my body in it, and when I am finished, I climb back out of the clouds and into the dusty parking lot, and I am happy.
I think your pep talk is the only thing that got me through to this moment to form actual sentences. Dear Lord, my mouth is on fire. Leigh?
Yes, Ashley.
You are fucking epic.
So are you. Oh my God. Oh, I'm getting the brain drugs now.
My legs are shaking. I'm sweating behind my knees.
Like a little
Not even on my
culture.
forehead.
Fuck.
Now, if y'all watching this are not feeling at least an iota of the pain that we feel, I need you to pinch yourself or slap yourself or something. Go stub yourself, stub a toe or something, because this is ridiculous. But also, while you're at it, go pick up Leigh's book, because this is the best thing that you will do and the most torturous thing that you will do.
I drooled all over my copy.
It's so worth it.
I should auction it for charity.
Sign it, auction it. It'll make a fortune.
Fuck.
How you feeling over there?
Good.
You still surviving?
Oh, I've gotten to the drugs part of the adventure.
Oh, we're here. We made it.
Oh, fuck.
I feel the psychopathic laughter happening deep in my loins and like coming up through my chest. But first, before I burst into, or we burst into, are you still swinging? I was gonna say like I have nothing more for you.
I moved on to the beer before part of this.
Like I call pineapple. All right. You lucky little perverts have watched us suffer enough.
I'm a lucky little pervert. What are you talking about?
I'm the luckiest
Living the
little
fucking
pervert.
dream.
What? I get to be miserable and sit and writhe in this with you? Come on, this is absolutely wonderful. Whew. But, whew. All right. Do you weirdos on the other side of the screen have questions? Because we have 15 minutes of Q&A, and I want you to hit us with all of your questions. Ask Leigh everything that you've been wanting to know, because this person, outside of potentially being a catalyst for some of the most intense suffering that my mouth has ever experienced, is absolutely phenomenal. And I want you to pick at their brain, ask the questions, and I will read through suffering right now. So type your questions in the chat box. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Okay, I'm scrolling to the top. I love how excited people are for the pain that we're enduring right now.
I'm a people.
Love you all for watching this. Whew. Okay. Whew. Okay. More questions. Let's see. Whew. There's so much. I'm like, my brain is feeling a little confused as to how to read questions right now. But I don't see anything in the chat box. So you just get to like watch us writhe in misery. I have a question for you, Leigh. Of all of the experiences that you have encountered with pain, what compares the most with these peppers?
There's nothing like it. It's different. It's different. I've done all sorts of things for pain, and I love it. I love all kinds of pain, but there's this like thing that happens in your, it's like, there's nothing like it. I mean, the polar plunge was horrible. Don't get me wrong. Like,
I hate ice cold, so
I
like,
do
I'm
too.
angry reading it. Like, it made me angry. I felt livid.
It made me angry, and it made me so mad that I refused to get into a cab afterwards and walked a mile back to my hotel in the cold. That's how upset I was. I couldn't sit down. That's how mad it made me.
I feel that. Oh God. I think that would actually be worse than the peppers, honestly.
Okay.
We do have a question in the chat box though, but you finish because I need to hear this.
Oh, I was just gonna say that next time, if you I will offer you a standing offer to do a hot sauna with a polar plunge with me.
Ooh.
There's a
yes, please.
There's a place in Brooklyn. There's a Russian bathhouse that is the hottest sauna I've ever been to with the coldest cold water.
Is it the Turkish baths? No?
I'll send it to you.
I'm here for it. We're just going to start a relationship with suffering together. I hope you're here for it.
Yeah, no, please.
Like now we're friends. So now we just have to be in utter sheer misery whenever we connect.
Yeah. You can film it.
This will be the content that, they came for, Okay. Sentences are forming. So I'm going to read this question. It's for you, Leigh. How does the hot sauce compare to the actual pepper in your experience?
The pepper's worse.
It is.
The pepper's
I feel
worse.
Like the vinegar is going to cut it a little bit.
The vinegar cuts it. It's true. The hot sauce. I'm gonna explain this. I'm gonna raffle these off. There's a competition. These will be available to win. I'm gonna sell some for charity. The hot sauce is awful, but nothing in the world compares to the hottest pepper in the world. I've never experienced anything like it.
This is just fire. Oh God. And I love vinegar. So like low key, I'm going to have to get a couple of those bottles.
Oh, honey, I'll send you one.
Torment people.
I'm going to send you
please.
One. Yeah, you earned it.
Please. Also, oh my God. So I don't want to give away the secret, but I want to know how to make infusions with these peppers and make like a really fucked up lube for some really like horribly detrimental genital torture. Like there's going to be some tears. There's going to be a lot of tears.
I've done that.
Ooh, we have more to talk about then.
Yeah.
We have more to talk about. But
Yes.
first, another question. Let's see.
My fingertips are numb.
My toes are numb. It's so funny that like your upper body is experiencing the sensation. It's my lower body that's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Cool.
Pain is such a phenomenal experience. It's so subjective, but everybody's experience with it is so different. And like my toes are just like jiggling. But we have a question from Darian.
Darian.
Can you?
I love Darian.
Hi, Darian. Can you describe the chili pain in colors and textures and sounds?
Okay. So that's a really good question, because one of the times I ate a Reaper pepper, I felt it in the space between my ear and the back of my throat. I don't know why that happened that one time, but it was like, but if I were to describe this in a synesthetic way, I would say it sounds like the red is red and the black is black, and also a fire, and like someone playing a trumpet as loud as they can right into one ear, and a piccolo in the other, and firecrackers, and like the way that my neighbors shoot off guns on every major holiday, but close up. I live in North Carolina.
I'm in North Carolina.
Oh my God. And if you could imagine what it would sound like to drop about 3,000 pounds of brick onto concrete around you, like that. But also, there's something soft in there too. I don't know. It's like being on fire, but there's also like kerosene and puppy fur. Like it's wild.
Yeah.
Darian's in the book. I did my last event with Darian. If it's the Darian that I think it is, if not, hi there, Darian. I'm sure I love you too. If it's my Darian, then hi, Darian. I have a pepper.
Darian Crossley?
Yeah. That's
that was such a good definition. I mean, such a good description. I feel like I'm definitely like, I'm feeling more of like the puppy pile. Like I can breathe. I'm not drooling as much.
Yeah.
The shaking is coming to a close. But we have another question. So, I can form sentences now. Look at us, Leigh. We're doing things.
We fucking did it.
Woo! Woo! Okay, Lisa Jacobs has a question. How long does the high last after the pain starts to subside?
A couple hours at least.
Couple hours?
Yeah.
I feel like this is like a nice little pain that I could get with though. Like, you know, this is nothing now.
Now I'm like, right? I know. Now that you hear, you're like, well, shit.
Right? No big deal.
I feel good.
Right?
Lisa is my massage therapist, and she's a demon. I love her, but she does things to my body that make me see colors. So hi, Lisa. I love you too.
Yeah, shout out to Lisa. Let's see. Stephanie Debner has a question for you. Leigh, are you doing this pepper experience for all of the events on your book tour, or is this a special occasion? Lucky us.
This is special. This is special. On Wednesday, I'm doing Pals with Jeff Zimmerman, who is a genius, and we're going to talk about pain and ritual and meaning. And I will cry. I just know it. And then on Thursday, I'm doing Town Hall Seattle with Dan Block. And Dan is famous for an act called Electric Blockhead. Dan is a sideshow performer, and I love Dan. And Dan is going to do tricks while I explain, or stunts, excuse me, they're real, Well, I explain the science of what's happening in his body. So Dan is going to stick a nail up his nose and electrocute it with it. And Dan is going to hang weights from his eyelids. And Dan is going to thread a balloon through his nose and his mouth and make a dog with it.
I think I've seen Dan. And Dan is a phenomenal performer. Like, wow.
Dan is
the eyelid thing is, whoa.
Dan is one of the best sideshow performers I've ever seen. And he told me today that the ultra marathon chapter made him cry. Mm-hmm. And it was reminded him of a book reading experience he had as a teenager. And a couple people have told me that reading my book made them feel like a book they read when they were 14, 15, 16. Mm-hmm. And I remember reading books at that age and just like having my world turned inside out. And the fact that there are people like me who feel like I feel, who read my book and see themselves in it in a way that, you know, I just, oh my God. I feel so lucky. This is a dream come true.
You're changing the world. Like, this is pretty epic, man. Like, I feel so blessed to be here with you and to have your book. Like, this was needed. So thank you.
Thank you.
We have one more question.
Okay.
Before we get all teary-eyed and mushy.
My chin is on fire. Is your chin on fire? My chin is on fire from all the drool over it. So I have this like block of fire.
It's under my lip more so, and I'm doing my best not to touch any part of my body with the fingers that I picked the pepper up with, but it's more so like under my lip where the drool has touched. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Oh, Leigh, you're changing my world. Oh, goodness. Okay. Chris Lawrence or Lawrence, I apologize if I've messed up your name, but they have a question. I know all pain is different, but what was the most impressive you felt or experienced while researching?
The most impressed?
The most impressive you felt.
Oh, the most
or
impressive
experienced. Yes.
Oh, wow, that's a good question. I definitely have like a resilience fetish. Like I like to be pushed, and then I like to like do it, and I like to be told that like I like to be pushed in a mean way and then told that I've done a good job. Because such a fucking brown noser ballerina at heart. Like a real mean, and then I like a gold star.
Right. It's like you did it. Boop.
So I think the most impressive I felt was when, spoilers, it was the scene at the end of the book. I have a lot of medical trauma, and I've always been scared of needles, and I've always wanted to do needle play, and I never felt like I could do it. But everything was right to do it, and I felt more capable in that scene than I think I've ever felt. Yeah. Also, hi, Chris. I love you.
Yeah, that one hit me actually pretty hard as well. I also have some medical trauma, but like the reframing of trauma, especially with needles, it's so impactful. And no spoilers, but y'all need to get this book. You need to see what they're putting down, because I'm definitely picking it up. Yeah. If y'all have any more questions, we have a few more minutes before we sign off and potentially pass out.
It's Car here. We have a couple in the chat. I can just read it for you while you recover. We have one here for Leigh. It says Leigh from Eva. Hi, Eva. Leigh, I've always been interested in the connection between religion, like flagellation, penance, etc., and BDSM. Did you find much of this in your research?
Yes, I think that the pain kind of creates like a conduit to transcendence, because it brings you right into the present moment. And I'm not religious, but I do feel like there is something sacred in consenting to pain. I'm not talking about suffering, to be clear. Like, I'm talking specifically, everything in this book is specifically pain that you consent to. And, you know, humans give so much meaning to pain, and pain brings that, since pain is so all encompassing, it can feel like a prayer. It can feel like begging. It can feel like asking for something, because you're asking for the pain to be over, or you're asking for the pain to mean something. And so it makes sense that religion could use the body to kind of create these little like portals into meaning and transcendence and awareness. And as you can tell, it's like drugs. You know, like or it's like drugs, or it's like spiritualism, or it's like that feeling you get when everything feels right for a second. And I think that humans are chasing that feeling all the time, be it through pain or otherwise, that feeling that you are there and this is real and there's something bigger than you, and also you can do it. And I think that's a very human thing, to use that kind of wetware to feel those things. Humans have been doing deliberate masochism, pain on purpose, for about as long as we've had records. So there's something there for sure.
That's wonderful. And thank you. I think we'll take one more question, then I'll hop back on with y'all too. Okay, who would you enjoy watching eat one of the peppers the most?
Like dead or alive? I mean, no one's ever asked me this. That's funny. I will tell you my knee-jerk answer, but you have to promise not to hate me, because okay, if it was me eating a pepper with somebody else, I feel like I want to eat a hot pepper with Mr. Rogers.
Oh, take me back to my childhood.
I just feel like he had such a gentle presence and mindfulness to him that, like, it's a weird knee-jerk response, but it's so interesting to me how people respond to pain. And I feel like he would have a really graceful and meaningful experience with it. If, you know, like, I feel like he could tap into the thing that we're all trying to tap into when we do this, that he could tap in right to the core of surrender and being at peace with it. And that watching him do that would be like church.
Yeah. I love that response.
That's quite lovely and perfect. And I will say that Dusty, hi Dusty, says, "Won't you be my sadist?" in response
Perfect.
to that. I hope that you folks get a chance to read all of the like truly awesome comments in the chat of how folks were responding to this incredibly experiential reading that we've had. I'm so proud and like just in awe of both of you. This was dope. Oh my goodness. And this was just awesome. Next time we're putting up a paywall because people can't get this free all the time. What you can do is I've added the link here where you can purchase Leigh's book and support them that way. By doing that, you can also follow Ashley on @Ashley Paige NYC on Twitter. And oh, I just realized I'm sitting in the dark, but I'm glad you folks can see me a little bit. I am so truly grateful that you're able to join us this evening. This has been a true delight. I'm over the moon. I'm like, I can't even put into words. Thank you so much to both of you.
This has been a dream. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for having me. How am I living this life?
I am yeah, like I feel electric. This is wonderful. Thank you both. Also Leigh, just baby.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for everything.
Beautiful. Thank you both so much. And folks, thank you all for joining us. You can go ahead and check out the link that I just shared in the chat for all of Kink's upcoming workshops. You can also check out the link to Leigh's book on our website. I shared before your opportunity to win one of these hot sauces, so you too can enter the pain cave. And we will see you all next time. Thank you very much.
Have a good night, y'all.
Mm-hmm.